Hey, Mets fans, welcome back to the Flushing Faithful podcast. Um, yeah, I've been gone a little while, but it's not because I wanted to. Unfortunately, I do work and I am a caregiver on the side, so my time is limited. And then, of course, the Mets go and make a few moves after I already started recording for last week. So, you know what? Why don't we do this? Let's do a wrap up on the moves they made. And then during the week, what I'm going to try and do is get back up to date with basically everything from pitching to catching to every situation with the team. Since next week, we're going to start hearing about arbitration numbers. One of the biggest things that the Mets did was get an outfielder who I think could win a starting job. Now, that depends on health and everything else. But Keon Broxton, if you remember 2017, he was playing center field for the Brewers and he hit 20 home runs, had 70 something RBIs, somewhere around there. I don't have it in front of me right now. But if you put those numbers in center field alongside Conforto and Nimmo, that's pretty good. I would even take that as the starting player. But I think Juan Lagares, being the incumbent, may get the job. But even if Broxton is just, I don't want to call it a platoon, um, because they're both right-handed hitters. Lagares is the better center fielder, but Broxton can handle the position. Plus, the Mets were also trying to trade Lagares. I guess they're trying to get money where they can and also get rid of some redundancies. Well, Lagares wasn't a redundancy until this move. They also got Rajay Davis and another minor league outfielder who I can't think of right now. But I could go into the season with that outfield as it is. They also got a starting pitcher by trading Kevin Plawecki to the Indians. Walker Lockett. He's going to start in AAA most likely. Kyle Dowdy, who they also got from the Indians, has to be in the majors or they have to offer him back. But of course, the Indians could reject it and he still ends up on the Mets. Both of them have decent potential. Walker Lockett, I think his potential will exceed his results so far. He's been pitching in the Pacific Coast League. The only problem with that is some pitchers end up getting bad habits. The Pacific Coast League is a hitter's paradise because there are places like Colorado, Vegas, and others where the ball just flies. So pitchers may make adjustments to that instead of just sticking to their game. Hopefully he works out because he adds something. The Mets need backup. You're not going to make it through the season with five starters. And Jason Vargas is still one of them. One other move the Mets made is they got J.D. Davis from the Astros. You heard some talk about a deal with the Astros, but this wasn't the one you were expecting, most likely. Um, Davis, I guess you can say it's part of backup for Peter Alonso, uh, Todd Frazier, and I guess you have to throw Jeff McNeil in that mix because now he has no starting job, even though he should. He can hit left-handed pitching, so you may even get a platoon with Alonso. I hate platooning young players because then they start becoming dependent on that one side. He's a guy who can play first base, third base, left field, or right field. This is something they want Jeff McNeil to do also, kind of be a super sub. But the guy was mashing the ball last year in the minors. In the majors, not so much, but he didn't really have much of a sample size. So, one thing that the Mets did with some of these moves is the bench is so much better. You know, day game after night game type things, you have B level players or even C when it's the Mets. Well, now you have decent backups. I wouldn't be surprised if one or two of these guys won a starting job. There are some positions which are iffy right now. Like, Broxton is most likely the fourth outfielder. Davis could be the fifth. J.D. Davis. Forgot there's also Rajay Davis. But I guess we'll see. I never liked the A.J. Pollock move because he was always injured. So basically, you'd have Juan Lagares Part 2. So what's the point in giving him a huge contract? I think this move is a better move, especially if Broxton refines his stroke. Because if he does, this is Lagares' last year under contract, and Broxton can move right in. So, the Mets made a little flurry of moves with the players that people said they didn't have, but obviously they do if someone wanted them. You know, the Mets still have Cicchini and, why am I drawing a blank on his name? The first baseman. I never liked him as a player. Dom Smith. That's it. So they do still have some players if they need to make another move. Walker Lockett may even be a player they can move. Hey, if Broxton refines his stroke, he can be an in-season move. Because you never know, a team could fall apart. But these are the small flurry of moves that the Mets made this past weekend, and I'd say they're decent. I think they filled the needs that the Mets had. Now, if they get rid of Todd Frazier, I'd be even happier, but it is what it is. So, for now, that's what we have in terms of moves for the weekend. I'm sure the Mets will make other moves or sign some contracts. You have some players who are going to start getting desperate for a place to play. Maybe they get one of them. So there's still moves to be made. The winter's not over. But don't worry, I won't leave you for like 2 or 3 weeks or whatever it was again without hearing from me. Hey, just remember, if you like what I have to say, click like or even subscribe. So this is a Flushing Faithful podcast, signing off.